Hello everyone, my name Chaitra Shri S and I am studying BSc in Bandaskars Arts and Science College Kundapura, and this video is about important topic of the chemistry, that is Raman spectroscopy. And now let us begin with our topic. Raman spectroscopy was firstly discovered by Indian scientist C.V. Raman in 1928, and this spectroscopy is quite different from other branches of spectroscopies like IR, UV, visible, and in all of them we study about absorption of radiation. But here in the case of Raman spectroscopy, it is about scattering phenomena. Raman spectroscopy is based on Raman effect. Here, what is Raman effect? Raman effect, according to definition, Raman effect is a phenomenon in which frequency of a scattered light from a sample is different from frequency of incident radiation. It explains that when a light means when certain light, any other light, maybe a UV or visible or any light which incident on a sample, it will get scattered. Here frequency of the light which get incident on the sample is differ from frequency of those light which get scattered. This is what actually known as Raman effect. Here in the case of scattering in the Raman spectroscopy, we can see two types. Those are Rayleigh scattering and Raman scattering. Rayleigh scattering means most of the collisions are perfectly elastic. Hence, scattered photon will have same frequency and same energy as that of incident light. Such a scattering is called Rayleigh scattering. Here, as well as incident as well as scattered light, both will have same frequency and same energy. Such a type of scattering are called as Rayleigh scattering. In the below diagram, it had been clearly given how it both scattered as well as incident light have same frequency and same energy. The next thing is about Raman scattering. In the case of Raman scattering, collisions are inelastic. As in the case of Rayleigh scattering, it is perfectly elastic, but here it is inelastic. And scattered light will have photons of lower or higher energy and frequency than the incident photon, which means scattered light will have the frequency and energy that is not equal to incident light, which is little higher than the incident light. As in the case of Rayleigh, both scattered as well as incident light have same frequency and same energy, but here it is not like that. Here scattered light's frequency and energy as well, both are little higher than the incident photon. Such a scattering is called Raman scattering, and in the below diagram it had clearly shown about the frequency and energy of the scattered light. Raman scattering may be of two types. Those are Stokes lines and anti-Stokes lines. Here, Stokes lines means a series of equally spaced lines obtained at lower frequency than Rayleigh lines are called Stokes lines in Raman spectrum, and series of equally spaced lines obtained at a higher frequency than Rayleigh lines are called anti-Stokes lines in Raman. The next thing is about Raman shift. The scattered light may have higher or lower frequency than incident light due to Raman effect. Raman shift is difference in frequency or wave number between incident and scattered light. It is expressed in an equation delta mu is equal to mu minus mu dash, where mu is the frequency of incident light, mu dash is the frequency of scattered light. Usually Raman effect is expressed in terms of wave number. Raman shift delta mu bar is equal to mu bar minus mu bar dash. It is also written as delta E by hc naught, where mu bar is a wave number of incident light, that is 1 by lambda, and mu bar dash is a wave number of scattered light, 1 by lambda dash, where delta E is energy difference between molecular energy level, h is a Planck's constant, and c naught is the speed of light in vacuum. Now let us look into the polarizability and Raman spectrum. This is also called as classical theory. According to classical theory, electric field E associated with an electromagnetic radiation induces a dipole moment mu in the molecule. On solving the equation, for oscillating, we get mu is equal to alpha naught E naught sine 2 pi mu t plus half into delta alpha by delta q into q naught into E naught cos 2 pi mu minus mu m into t minus cos 2 pi mu plus mu m into t. Here in this equation, the first component represented by the arrow mark represents Rayleigh line, and second one represents Stokes line, and third one represents anti-Stokes line. The oscillating dipole has three components. Those are with frequency mu, with frequency mu minus mu m, and with frequency mu plus mu m. However, if change in polarizability, that is delta alpha by delta q is 0, the two components with frequency mu minus mu m and mu plus mu m disappear, and only component with frequency mu is obtained, which is Rayleigh line. Therefore, if molecule is polarizable, then scattered light contain at least three distinct frequency components. Those are Rayleigh line with frequency which is same as incident frequency, and Stokes line with frequency mu minus mu m where mu is incident frequency, and anti-Stokes lines with frequency mu plus mu m. Now let us look into the application of Raman spectroscopy. Raman spectroscopy can be used to study different types of isomers in association with IR spectra. It can be used to distinguish between cis and trans isomers of dichloroethane, and the cis isomer is both IR and Raman active, but a trans isomer is IR inactive but it is Raman active. And electrolytic dissociation hydrolysis reaction can be studied through this Raman spectroscopy. Molecular structure can also be studied, and it is used to study the structure of different crystals. This method is used to study biological systems such as proteins in aqueous solution. These are some applications regarding Raman spectroscopy. Now it is about advantages of Raman spectroscopy. Any convenient source of radiation can be used in Raman spectroscopy. Even visible or UV radiation can be used. There is no restriction to use any particular radiation, and center of vibration band which do not appear in IR spectrum, which appear only in the Raman spectrum, and sample cell can be made use of glass, quartz, because Raman spectroscopy make use of UV or visible radiation. But IR spectrum requires some special materials, which means if we need sample for the Raman spectroscopy. To prepare that sample, if we use if we use that IR spectrum, then it requires some special materials to prepare the sample. But it is not like that in Raman spectrum. In Raman spectrum, if we make use of UV or visible radiation, it is enough to prepare the sample, and there is no need to use any other special materials. These are some advantages of Raman spectroscopy. With this, we came to an end of our topic. In this video, we studied about scattering of light and what are the types of scattering, Raman effect, and about those Stokes and anti-Stokes lines of Raman spectrum, and about Raman shift. And also we studied about one of the theory of Raman spectroscopy, that is polarizability and Raman spectrum, which is also called as classical theory. And at last we concluded it by studying about application and advantages of Raman spectroscopy. I hope it will be useful for you. Thank you one and all.